Hello, how are you? I believe this topic is meeting you well. Our topic today is article writing. My name is Mr. Adeoye TJ. What is article writing? Yes. Okay. Let's see if you're right as we go to the topic. Article writing. Article writing is one of the continuous forms of writing in English language. It exposes the reader to new ideas and information. It is a piece of writing written for a large audience. The main motive behind writing an article is that it should be published in either newspaper or magazines or journals so as to make some difference to the world. Now, the article's topic can be an area of interest or the writer of the writer, or may be related to some current issues. The article may either be serious or not so serious. This influences the tone and language of the article. Now, listen to this, okay? When you pick up a write-up and you're to write an article, you must have it at the back of your mind that it is going to be published. It may be published in any material, probably in a bulletin, in a newspaper, and a magazine. It's possible your school magazine, if there is any, or probably a magazine that may be demanding for your write-up, okay, or for examination purpose also. Now, let it be at the back of your mind that this article I'm writing is going to be published. And when it is going to be published, you cannot tell where your write-up will travel to. So you must be careful what you write. Okay, we'll be seeing how to write a good article in this study. All right, good. Objective of article writing. Articles are written based on the following objectives. Okay, it brings out the subject matter, topic, matter of interest to the public view. 2, the article should provide information on different topics. Now, let me go to number 1 again. Now, it brings out the subject matter. You can decide to discuss a particular topic, a particular issue, a particular matter, and try to, bring it to the public view as the writer. If you want to tell us about COVID-19, maybe there are some people that have not heard about COVID-19. You want to tell us about COVID-19, you pick up a write-up and write and then publish. When we all were going to be informed about this COVID-19, articles were published in the newspapers and some magazines so that we can all be well informed. Okay, so there's a particular subject matter that an article must address, a particular topic that an article must be talking about, and it must be of public interest. It must be something that the public is interested in. Okay. Now, the article provides information on different topics. So, as it is an article, you can write on any topic that, any topic of it. There is no limitation to topics that you may want to write on. It offers suggestions and pieces of advice. Okay. Now, when you, as the writer, write, there is something you're trying to say. There's a suggestion in your mind, and there's an advice. Maybe this thing is not done well. Why can't we do it this way? That's a suggestion, and that's kind of a piece of advice. So when as a writer, there is something you are trying to suggest. So your article must offer suggestions, must offer a piece of advice. Okay, it discusses different stories. An article can decide to tell us stories, histories of things that have happened. Okay, it can decide to discuss places or location. You know, it can decide to talk about persons, individuals, or people of a particular geographical location. It can decide to talk about current issues. For example, current issues right now is the COVID-19, the lockdown, and possibly maybe resumption of schools and all of that. Now, technical development. The article the article writer can decide to discuss technical development, probably their new software packages, you know, that have been developed, and they need to inform the general view. For example, I think Infinix Hot 9 just came out, and there are articles that are being written on it, so that the public will be able to know about the phone. So you as the writer can decide to discuss a technical development or scientific discovery. For example, if suddenly someone discovers the real cure to this COVID-19 pandemic stuff, if someone gets it, he can decide to put it up as a write-up and publish it in a magazine or a newspaper. So scientific discoveries can be published. Okay, it influences the readers and provokes their thoughts. So bear it in mind that your article is going to affect somebody somewhere. It's going to touch somebody's heart or somebody's head somewhere. It's going to influence their reasoning, their thought pattern, and it can influence their decisions and actions and reactions towards life. So you must be careful as a writer to know what you're writing. Okay? The format or features of article writing. Every writing is expected to have the standard structure. So the standard structure of all essay, whatever kind of essay you're writing, there must be an introduction, there must be a body, and there must be a conclusion. Okay? So and article writing is not exempted. Okay? So when you're writing an article, there is expectation that you should have what? An introduction, body, and conclusion. Hence, an article must be well organized to draw the attention of the readers. The basic writing format of an article are as follows. Number 1, heading or title. Number 2, the writer's name. Immediately after the heading, you can decide to put the writer's name. Okay? Or you can decide to put it at the end of the write-up, and then possibly put your designation. Okay? That's possibly your portfolio or your office. Okay, maybe you are the head boy, you put your name and then put head boy, Federal Science and Technical College, or whichever school you are from, and you put it there. Okay, now, the body. The body is the main part of the article, okay, which contains about 2, 3 or more paragraphs, where you have the introduction of your essay, of your write-up, the body itself, as in you're talking about things, you're discussing things in those paragraphs, and then you have your conclusion, which is number 4, the ending paragraph of the article with the opinion or recommendation or anticipation or appeal, okay, of the writer. So you must bear this in mind, that it must have this format, it must have this look. Okay, look at the example I've given down there. Okay, you have the title of the article, you have the writer's name, you have the body, main part of the article, you have introductive paragraph, you have descriptive paragraph, you have the additional information if needed. Okay, then you have your conclusion. That's the ending part of the article. Let's move to the next. Steps to writing an article. Steps to writing an article. Now, number one thing is that you must bear it in mind that you need to think very well. Okay, so it is important that you think of the topic you want to write the article about. Okay, there is a topic in your mind. There is a subject matter you want to address with this article. So you must think through. You must think well about it. Okay. Now, after deciding on what to write on, take the following steps. Take this following step. Number 1, target audience. you as the writer, you are not just writing, you are writing to a particular set of people. You are not writing to just one person. This is newspaper or magazine. Some kind of people are going to have it to read. If it is your school magazine, students in your schools are going to read it. Teachers may also read that magazine or newspaper or something. Okay, so you must identify the concerned group you are targeting. Are they local communities? For example, if you are writing to your school, you must know their languages, their words that are associated with your school. There are slangs, there are some kind of words that are being used in the school community. That if you're saying that in the courtroom, they will look at you and say, "What are you saying?" Okay, but because you are writing to a particular audience, you talk in their language. Okay, when I say language, I'm not saying you should go and be writing Yoruba. This is English language. Okay, what I mean is there are particular words, slangs. Okay, for example, in my school, some of my students would say Japa. Japa is he ran away. He escaped or something. He looped. So they can say Meru FM. When say Meru FM, what they are saying is that the person is lying. Okay, so he gave us Meru FM. Meru FM. All of those are kind of words that are associated with that community. You may need to just impute some of them so that you can drive home your point and they can easily understand. So if you are writing to a particular ethnic group, you know that there are some particular kind of food that are associated with that ethnic group. There are particular kind of clothing that are associated with that kind of community. There's a particular adage that are associated with that part of community, that particular community. So you must be able to engage them, employ them, so that you will be able to drive home your point. Okay, you know your audience and you meet them at the point of their language understanding. Okay, so you must be careful what you put in your write-up for the interest of your target audience. Now, you may be talking to a professional community. Okay, for example, you are writing to the engineers. Okay, or you're writing to the medical practitioners. You in their magazine, you must use their terms and terminologies. That's what we talked about. We talked about register in English language. I don't know how many of you know register, but register has to do with terms and terminologies associated with a particular field of study or profession or area of life. Okay, so there are some words that can be obtainable, that the same word in a particular field that means something else in another field. Okay, so you can't be bringing up spanner in Christian religion knowledge. Spanner has to do with what? Engineering. It's a word that is more accustomed with engineering. So you can't bring it into Christian religion knowledge. It's misplacement of words. So when you are talking to a professional body, you must be careful with your choice of words so that they will be able to understand what you're saying. If you are talking to a non-professional body, you also have to be careful with your words so that you won't sound too professional for them to be able to understand you. Then, if you're talking to an ethnic group, or if your if your article is ethnical, I've explained that earlier. If you're writing to a particular community, ethnic group, if you're writing to the Igbos, do you understand? Their words, their clans, their culture, their food, their dressing, all of those things. You must be conscious to impute some of them. You can check the write-up of some people on newspapers. You can check the write-up of some people magazines so that you can be properly guided. But if you're writing to a national community, that's if your write-up is not ethnical now, that's not okay. Now, if you're writing to a larger community, maybe the nation. You're writing to Nigerians in general. you cannot go and be, you can't just go ahead and start writing in the direction of the Igbos. You have sidelined the Yorubas, the Hausas. They won't be able to flow with your write-up. So if you are talking to Nigerians, your choice of words must cover all the ethnic groups, okay, all the tribes. So you speak English in a way that everybody from any part of Nigeria will agree with, will understand. Okay, if you are writing to the international community, there are some words that are associated with Nigerians, okay, that you must run away from, because somebody from another country may not understand what you are trying to say. So you try as much as possible to speak in global language, okay, in such a way that the global community will be able to understand what you're trying to say. Now, I hope you understand what I've just said about target audience, okay? Number two, purpose. You must find the objective or aim of writing the article. There's a reason why you're writing, so make sure that you get that cleared out, okay, before you start writing. Number three, gather, collect, and select. Now, gather as much information as possible, okay? Identify the details that are most significant. There are some details that are needed in that write-up, okay? If those details are missing, it could be very, very challenging for your audience to get what you are saying. So you must be careful to make sure that you gather those informations, gather those ideas, and select the details that are essential for your write-up. Then organize them. Arrange the information and the fact in a logical manner, in a very wonderful way, so that you'll be able to carry your audience through. For example, if you're writing on rape, okay, you could just pick up on the causative agent, what started it. You know, you can start to talk about, is it the parents involved? Is it the child? Is it the person that raped, that started it, or something? How did it start? Then you can then bring us to the point of the main event, how it happened, where it happened, when and how. You know, you can just open the eyes of your readers to it. Then you bring us to the resultant effect, what eventually happened, the things that the rape caused, maybe for the child, maybe death, or maybe some kind of infection or something, and then maybe a kind of, you can just, maybe the parents became so bad, so sad, or the court speak about it. You can just speak on those things, and then you can then bring us to the point of discouraging us, discouraging your audience from involving in rape. Okay, as you try to make them see what they can go through if they eventually go into raping. You have just been logical, starting from an example, talking about one of the events that happened about it, giving us the results of that happening, and then giving us that. On that basis, you come with what? A matter to discourage rape. So if your write-up is talking about discouraging rape in our community, then I think we can manage to go with that. So you must be able to arrange your ideas in a very logical manner, so that you can carry or drive home your point. Okay. Now that you have gathered your points, you know what you want to write on. You have planned what you want to write on. Now, consider the following while you are writing. Consider the following. That's number 5. After the above steps, start writing. Now, while writing, always, number 1, use proper grammar. Grammar is G-R-A-M-M-A-R, not E-R. Okay? Use proper grammar, proper spellings, okay, and proper punctuations. Okay? Then use vocabulary skill. Use vocabulary skills that, when we say use vocabulary skills, what we are saying is that find the actual words that best explain what you're saying, that simplifies what you're saying, that explains it clearly to anybody that that picks up the write-up to read. So keep the introduction of the topic catching, okay, interesting, short, and understandable. Okay, when you're writing, make sure that what you are writing, the introduction, the title, is short, is interesting, is catching. Write it in such a way that somebody will be interested to read what you are writing on, and make sure that the introduction is very interesting. Then discuss the opinion and the matter in an organized and descriptive manner. Make sure that you are properly organized. You describe things and explain them in a very wonderful way for your audience to be carried along. Then the article must be in simple language for easy reading. You must avoid any form of ambiguity. Okay, you must not go and begin to use you must not begin to use big grammar, such words that is hard to comprehend. It's not healthy for your write-up. So make sure that you make use of simple language for easy reading. Proper punctuation is very essential. Tenses, make sure you engage that correctly, and capitalizations, okay? And then you must not be too formal. Ensure that you are not too formal so that you can drive home your point in an interesting manner, okay? And then you can avoid being too boring if there's anything like that. Now, in expressing personal view, the writer must be careful not to talk about himself or herself. So, if you're expressing a personal view, you must be careful. Don't start talking about yourself. Don't shift our gaze from from the issue you are addressing to yourself. That's not healthy. Okay, that's not good enough. So make sure you avoid doing that. Then bring your write-up to a logical conclusion. Let it be that after reading from A to Z, we have come to understand what it's saying. We have come to probably agree with you on this subject matter you have raised. So I want you to make sure you put these steps into consideration, and I want you to know that if you do this, you're on your way to having a very good article written. Okay? Now, I have an assignment for you, and I want you to check it and do it. This is the assignment. Write a well-typed article on this topic below with not less than 400 words. Okay, not less than 400 words. Okay, the lockdown in Nigeria, a solution or a problem? The lockdown in Nigeria, a solution or a problem? Now you have to send this to my mail. Okay, adeyetuntopej@gmail.com. Everything is small letter, and there is no space in between the names. So write everything in full. You can also visit my YouTube page if you have missed any of my classes earlier. You can click the subscribe button. Click the notification button to be notified each time there is a new post on the page. Okay, do that. It's very essential so that you can always learn new things that I'll be dropping there as time goes on. Okay, so I wish you all the best. Regards to everybody around there. Have a wonderful day ahead. God bless you. Thank you.